There are games that define a generation, and then there are games that refuse to be forgotten. Assassin's Creed Black Flag is one of those rare experiences that somehow feels more alive in 2026 than it did when it first launched back in 2013. While most games from that era have faded into obscurity or feel hopelessly outdated, Black Flag stands tall like a ship that weathered every storm the industry threw at it. The question isn't whether this game holds up. The question is why modern games still can't capture what this 13-year-old title got so perfectly right. Let's get one thing straight from the beginning. Black Flag wasn't trying to be the best Assassin's Creed game when it came out. It was trying to be the best pirate game ever made, and it succeeded in ways that still haven't been matched. You play as Edward Kenway, a Welsh privateer turned pirate who stumbles into the Assassin-Templar conflict almost by accident. What makes Edward special is that he's not some noble hero with grand ideals. He's a selfish, reckless man chasing fortune and glory, and watching his journey from greedy pirate to something resembling a hero is one of the most satisfying character arcs in gaming history. The writing doesn't just tell you Edward is changing. You feel it in every decision, every loss, every moment of regret that builds throughout the story. The gameplay loop in Black Flag is where things get dangerously addictive. You're not just running around stabbing people in cities like previous Assassin's Creed games, you're commanding your own ship, the Jackdaw, across the Caribbean, hunting whales, raiding plantations, exploring uncharted islands, and engaging in naval combat that still feels incredible even by today's standards. The moment you take control of your ship and hear that crew singing sea shanties while you navigate through a storm is pure magic. These aren't just background sound effects, they're moments that make you feel like you're actually living the pirate life, and that immersion is something modern games with all their advanced technologies still struggle to achieve. Naval combat deserves its own moment of appreciation because this is where Black Flag separates itself from everything else. Maneuvering your ship into position, timing your cannon fire, switching between different ammunition types, and boarding enemy vessels creates this perfect balance between strategy and action. Every battle feels different depending on the enemy ship type, weather conditions, and your own upgrades. You're constantly making split-second decisions about whether to close distance for a boarding attempt or stay back and pound them with heavy shot. The physics feel weighty and realistic without being frustrating, and even now in 2026, with all the technical improvements in modern games, nothing quite captures the thrill of naval warfare like Black Flag does. But here's where things get interesting. The on-foot gameplay, the traditional Assassin's Creed stuff, is actually the weakest part of the game. The parkour system feels clunky by modern standards. Edward sometimes climbs things you don't want him to climb, and the stealth mechanics are pretty basic compared to what we expect today. Combat is functional but repetitive, relying heavily on counters and chain kills that make you feel overpowered once you get the timing down. If Black Flag was just another Assassin's Creed game with standard assassination missions, it would have aged terribly. What saves it is that the pirate elements are so strong they carry the entire experience. The open world design is where Black Flag shows its age and its timeless qualities at the same time. Yes, the graphics look dated in 2026. Character models are stiff, textures are muddy compared to current generation games, and some animations are laughably awkward. But the world itself, the way it's structured, and the variety it offers puts many modern open worlds to shame. The Caribbean is massive and filled with activities that actually feel meaningful. Every island you discover has secrets, whether it's buried treasure, Mayan ruins, or just a beautiful viewpoint. The game doesn't overwhelm you with hundreds of identical markers like modern Ubisoft games do. Instead, it gives you reasons to explore because you want to, not because some checklist told you to. Upgrading the Jackdaw provides genuine progression that you can see and feel. Every armor upgrade, every cannon improvement, every cosmetic change makes your ship more powerful and more uniquely yours. You start with a barely functional vessel and end with a legendary warship that can take on entire fleets. This sense of growth and investment keeps you engaged for dozens of hours, constantly hunting for materials and resources to make your ship better. The economy actually matters because you need money for upgrades, which pushes you to take on contracts, hunt legendary ships, and raid high-value targets. Side content in Black Flag is surprisingly robust for a game from 2013. Hunting and harpooning might seem simple, but there's genuine challenge in taking down massive whales and sharks. Collecting sea shanties scattered across the world gives you actual rewards that enhance your experience. Finding buried treasure using maps and coordinates feels like real exploration, not just following waypoint markers. Liberating forts give you fast travel points and safe harbors while also providing intense combat scenarios. None of this feels like padding. It all contributes to making you feel like a pirate building a legend. The modern-day segments, however, remain the most divisive part of the game. Playing as a nameless Abstergo employee hacking computers and wandering around an office building pulls you out of the pirate fantasy and adds very little to the experience. These sections are mercifully brief, but they're still an unwelcome interruption every time they appear. Even now in 2026, looking back with full knowledge of where the series went, these segments don't feel justified or necessary. What really makes Black Flag special is the emotional weight it carries. The story deals with themes of friendship, betrayal, loss, and redemption in ways that hit harder than you expect. Without spoiling anything, there are moments in this game that will genuinely affect you, moments where characters you've sailed with meet their fate, and the game forces you to confront the consequences of the pirate life. The ending sequence is one of the most powerful in the entire Assassin's Creed franchise, bringing everything full circle in a way that feels earned and deeply satisfying. The music and sound design elevate everything. The main theme is iconic, the combat music ramps up tension perfectly, and those sea shanties your crew sings create atmosphere like nothing else. Voice acting across the board is excellent, with Edward's voice actor delivering a performance that sells every moment of his character arc. The ambient sounds of waves crashing, wood creaking, and seagulls crying make the world feel alive even when nothing major is happening. In 2026, playing Black Flag is a reminder of what we've lost in the pursuit of bigger and better graphics. Yes, it looks rough around the edges. Yes, some mechanics feel outdated. But the soul of this game, the passion and creativity that went into crafting this pirate fantasy, shines through every limitation. Modern games often feel sterile and calculated, designed by committee to maximize engagement metrics. Black Flag feels like it was made by people who genuinely loved pirates and wanted to create the ultimate pirate experience. That authenticity is rare and precious. This game earns a solid 4.5 out of 5, and the only thing keeping it from a perfect score is the dated parkour and occasional technical roughness. Everything else, from the naval combat to the story to the world design, remains exceptional even 13 years later. If you've never experienced Black Flag, you owe it to yourself to set sail with Edward Kenway. If you played it back in 2013, returning in 2026 will remind you why some games become timeless classics. If this review helped you decide whether to dive into Black Flag, hit that like button and subscribe for more honest reviews of classic games. Drop a comment telling me your favorite pirate moment from this game, and share this with anyone who needs a reminder that sometimes the best gaming experiences come from looking backwards instead of always chasing the next big release. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.